Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining our briefing today. My name is Major James Campbell, and I am the AMED Enlisted Commissioning Program Director at the United States Army Recruiting Command, Fort Knox, Kentucky. Today I would like to take an opportunity to talk to you about a wonderful opportunity the Army has to become a Nurse Corps officer. It's the AMED Enlisted Commissioning Program. And the AMED Commissioning Program has been around since 1990. The Army opened it up for all 91 Charlie MOSs, currently 68 Whiskey Mike 6 MOS. In 1992, the Army opened it up for all medical MOSs, 91 and 68 series. In 94, they opened it up to all enlisted MOSs. And in 2008, the Army opened it up to all enlisted MOSs to include Guard and Reserve soldiers. So as a Guard and Reserve soldier, you have an opportunity to participate in this program as well. The AECP provides eligible enlisted soldiers of the active component the opportunity to complete a bachelor's degree of nursing, become a licensed registered nurse, and be commissioned as an Army Nurse Corps officer as a second lieutenant. All soldiers who participate in the program receive their current pay and allowances while they're attending school, and all academic cost tuition and fees to include $1,000 a year for books are paid for. An applicant must be an enlisted member of the active component, the United States Army Reserve, or National Guard. You must be MOS qualified and able to obtain a conditional release from your branch. You must be an E4 and above, and the school of nursing that you choose to go to must be accredited. Their nursing program must be accredited by the ACEN or the CCNE. And you must be able to complete your bachelor's degree in nursing in 24 consecutive months or less, and there is no exceptions to this policy. As a participant in the program, you must also be eligible for an appointment as a commissioned officer in the active component in accordance with AR 601-100 and AR 40-501, Chapter 2. Time in service must have 12 years at the time of commissioning. This is waiverable on a case-by-case basis up to 14 years. If you're going to be over the age of 32 at the time of commissioning, you will require a waiver for age and grade. Okay. If you're going to be over the age of 42 at the time of commissioning, that is non-waiverable. All applicants must submit a DA photo with their packet, and it must be within 12 months of the board date. If you're deployed, we'll make an exception, and you can have your photo taken in your ACUs. It is recommended that you have a DA photo done, if you can, in your ACUs. If there are some issues that you have, you can have a commercial photographer do a photo to make up for this. If you're at E5 or below, you may require your chain of command to submit a memo in order to get a DA photo. Your APFT must be within 6 months of the board date. So for AECP, that is 1 February of the year which you're boarding. If you require a height, and also that must be certified by your commander and your first sergeant. If you require a height and weight, then a tape test, that also must be in accordance to 600-9 and must also be certified by your commander and your first sergeant. Your letter of intent, very important here because this is your opportunity to talk to the board. This is your voice to address to the board what it means to you to be an Army Nurse Corps officer and how important in your desire to be a nurse in the Army and what motivates you to be a nurse in the Army. And it also gives you the opportunity to show the board members how you write. And it's your one opportunity to personally address the board, and I can't state enough how important it is. And so, along with that, it's also very important that you have someone whom you trust to review that letter of intent, and they can give you some insight into what the letter says. Letters of recommendation. You are required to submit with your packet 3 letters of recommendation minimum. You must have a letter of recommendation from your first line supervisor, from your commander, and also, it says from the officer of a profession. It must be the DCN of the Army MTF. It must be the Deputy Commander for Nursing as an MTF. Now the slide says you have to have 80 shadowing hours. That's for our PA program. Now for AECP, you don't have to have shadowing hours, but it does benefit you to get an interview with the Deputy Commander for Nursing, and that way they can speak to you face to face, and that way they can provide you a letter of recommendation that will benefit you and make you look like a stellar candidate for the board members. Now you have a maximum letters are 5, and the additional letters can be from anybody, and they don't have to be on the Use Rec Form 195. They can be a memorandum format for the additional. The 3 required letters of recommendation must be on the Use Rec Form 195. Or your ORBs and your ERBs really must be certified true copies from your commander, first sergeant. You must satisfy the HRC's policy for time on service, 24 months prior to the start of school, and along with that, you're going to be required to get a conditional letter from HRC releasing you from your current MOS to participate in the program, should you get selected and finish the program. Your commissioning physical needs to be within a year of the board date. And I can't emphasize enough how important it is to submit all the documentation for your commissioning physical. You must have, along with your 2807-1 and your 2808, be sure that you include any lab results, your drug screen. Those are very important to include so that we can have a complete picture, or so that, if a waiver is required, we're going to need additional information, so it's better to have it all up front. A P2 profile, that is considered on a case-by-case basis, and I'm going to say that most, a lot of waivers are given for P2 profiles. So if you have a P2 profile, don't shy away from submitting your packet. Now P3 profiles are not waiverable, so if there's any way, if you have a P3 profile, and it's a possibility that's going to change, you can submit your packet later. You must have a DA61, and along with all of your NCO ERs, your 1059s, all of your awards, all of your professional training certificates, and if you've been prior service, your DD-214 and your NGB. Those must be all certified true copies. You must have a milpost statement from your command, also stating that you aren't undergoing any UCMJ action or have any flags in place. Also that they have reviewed your packet, and all the packet documents that you have are correct. Now it says there USAR and National Guard soldiers and AGR soldiers must have a DD-368 conditional release from their command and HRC before boarding. There are several waivers that you might need and be required to have. As I spoke before, if you're going to be over the age of 32 at time of commissioning, you will require an age and grade waiver. Time and service waiver you will require if you have less than 3 years, or if you're going to have over 12 years at time of commissioning. Okay. On your DA-61 and item 26, if you've ever been convicted, arrested for anything at all, no matter what the outcome is, if you have some type of a conviction, you need to make sure that on your DA-61 item 26 that you check that you have, and then submit all pertinent court documents and the outcomes, along with if you have support from your chain of command, if it happened while you were in the military or otherwise, make sure that is completed and submitted so we can run a conviction waiver. Like I said before, if you have any medical, if you have a P2 profile or any medical conditions that fall outside of the AR 40-501 Chapter 2 standards, then you're going to need to submit all supporting documentation with that, and then so we can run a medical waiver. You must have a GT score of 110 or better. That's not waiverable. You must be a 3.0 or greater. I can't emphasize this enough either because this is a showstopper. There are no waivers for GPAs. So it's very important that you've maintained a good GPA in any classes you've ever taken in college. And you're going to be required to submit all of your official transcripts from all universities that you've attended. And you must never have filed academic bankruptcy. For those of you who don't know what academic bankruptcy is, so you started off in college and taking your courses and you weren't really focused and your GPA is like really bad, so you basically file to say, I want my GPA to be wiped out and I want to start all over again. So if you've ever filed that, then that is a non-waiverable as well. So just keep that in mind. If you're selected for the program, you must be able to start school within the FY that you were selected. For example, the board meets in August 2014. That's FY15 board. You must be able to start school if you're selected by the end of September 2015. Be able to start school if all your prerequisites are complete, and you're going to be able to start school in January of 2015 after you've been selected for the board. You must be able to have a conditional letter or an unconditional letter of acceptance to a university prior to boarding. Now, if you're going to start class later in FY, say August of 2015, you're going to be required to submit at a minimum a conditional letter of acceptance to a university. And along with that, the conditional letter of acceptance must have no more than 9 credit hours that you have to complete in order to meet all their prerequisites. The university that you attend their tuition must not exceed $9,000 per year. There are no exceptions to this. So your unconditional or your conditional letter, your unconditional letter of acceptance to the university must state that as a fact, outline your tuition cost per year, and that's what we'll hold them to. You must maintain full-time student status the entire time you're in the program. That includes summer semesters if you're required to take those. And each summer semester is different for each university on what they require to be considered full-time, but you must be full-time status while you're in the program. And you must attend classroom sessions. No online courses can be taken. And I reiterate again that you will receive full pay and benefits which you currently held while you're accepted into the program. Now, if you're promotable when you get accepted to the program and you meet the points, you can be promoted while you're in the program, but you won't have the opportunity while you're participating in the program to be boarded and be promoted. Here's a short list of some of the requirements that some universities may be prerequisites, and just give you a moment. I'll pause here and give you a moment to look over those. This is not all-inclusive. All universities are different in their requirements. Packets must be received by 30 June of the FY year of the physical year. Packets will not be accepted past the deadline unless you've made prior arrangements with myself. Transcripts and school letters may be updated prior to the board, but your packet must be submitted by 30 June. The FY15 selection board this year is tentatively scheduled for the 26th through 28 August. Official results will be posted in a MILPER message put out, and that will be the official notifications of those applicants that have been selected for the program. Little AECP packet timeline here. Well, the first and most important step to take is to get in touch with your local AMED recruiter. You can visit GoArmy.com and find out who your local recruiter is if you don't know who that is, and get in touch with your local recruiter. and tell them that you're interested in participating in the AECP program, and they can get you started on getting your packet. Then next, you can order your transcripts from all universities that you've attended and have those sent to the recruiter. They're going to have to be official transcripts sent directly from the university and sent straight to the recruiter. They're not official transcripts if they were sent to you and then you forward them to the recruiter. Now, if you fall short on your GT score, that's a good time for you to get yourself scheduled to raise that GT score up, because like I said before, a GT score below 110 is non-waiverable. You also need to be looking at universities at that time and looking at what they require and putting in applications and see where you sit with the current, your current credit hours that you have in the classes you've taken, and see how you sit and what you might require to get done in order to qualify for their nursing program. Check, good to schedule your Chapter 2 commissioning physical at that time, and then get anything, that way you can get anything addressed and get your waiver, if you require one, submitted, and we can get that ran and get that done before the board meets. Any Reserve or National Guard soldiers can make contact with HRC and get your 368 initiated for your conditional release. If you have not obtained a security clearance before, then that would be good to get with your S2 shop on your security guys and go ahead and get that initiated. At the time of the board, we'll need some clarification on whether you've started your security clearance or you've actually obtained that security clearance. You also need to work on those letters of recommendation with your first line supervisor, your commander, and then that letter of recommendation from a deputy commander from nursing. Get your packets submitted no later than 30 June. The AECP board will meet, like I said, 26 to 28 of August of the upcoming board. The date's subject to change each FY, but it's usually toward the end of August. After the board meets, the results come out and are put out in a MilPer message, usually toward the end of September, and that will, like I said before, be your official notification that you've been selected. Then prior to starting school, you're going to need to submit your post-board documents, and then I can submit and receive your PCS orders, which will have you assigned to the AMED student detachment in San Antonio, Texas, with duty at the university that you will be attending. So you won't be stationed in San Antonio. You'll essentially be stationed at the university that you're going to be attending. And but AMED Center and School, and particularly AMED Student Detachment in San Antonio, will be the command and control at that time. Important, the following documents, they must be submitted within 6 months of the time of the board. That would be your DA 4187, which must be signed by your battalion commander or above. And it must have your last APFT date on it, along with whether you passed or you failed, and it has to be after 1 February. It must also state your height and weight and tape if required. Spoke a little bit about the command and control while you're in the program. While in the program, here at USREC headquarters, and myself in particular, we will run the board. You'll be enrolled in the program, and I will follow you academically and track your grades and your progression. And then I will get you orders after you finish up the program, and we'll get you out to Bullock and on to your new career. AMED Student Detachment will be most of the command and control, and they'll follow through with any personal administration actions, any leave that you might take while in the program, any UCMJ action if needed. Hopefully that won't be the case. and they'll enforce the program policies as well. They'll do a commissioning ceremony for you prior to reporting to Bullock, and then your assignments, if you should take the summer off, you will be attached to a unit during the summer, and they will arrange those orders for you while you're in the program. Talk a little bit about the conditional letter of acceptance. Your unconditional letter of acceptance that you must have prior to me being able to get orders for you to start school. It must state that you've been fully selected unconditionally to a BSN program at the chosen university that you're going to attend. And it states there that it must be no less than 90 days prior to the start of school. If I can get that within 60 days of start of school, it helps out. Getting orders, sooner the better. All letters must state the specific date that you're going to start school and when you're going to anticipate that you're going to graduate from your program. You must also include with that your DA 2125, which basically is your academic breakdown, which will outline each semester you will be attending school and the cost. The school must be within 100 miles of an MTF. Very important. Like I stated before, the program is you must complete your degree in 24 months or less. So you must pass all your classes the first time. Usually nursing programs are challenging enough to get into. So if you don't pass one class, that could set you back a whole year just depending on how the nursing program is structured. It's also very important that you submit your DA 2125 to me at the completion of each semester. So that it serves two purposes. First of all, it helps me to ensure that you're tracking in your degree program, and two, the budget office, it helps them to track the invoices that they receive from the university that they're going to be paying for your tuition. So if they don't get the DA 2125 to me, I don't get that to the budget office, then the university is going to be looking for tuition payment, and that won't be processed. So. And also very important, soldiers in the past have kind of lost their mind. They get out there, they get a little freedom. They don't have to put the uniform on while they're participating in the program. So they kind of forget that they're in the military. So you're always a soldier when you're in this program, and you need to maintain all times military bearing. Because if not, like I said, AMED student detachment will follow through with any UCMJ action required, and that could potentially result in you being removed from the program. And this is a fantastic opportunity, and it's a great opportunity, so you don't want to mess it up. So you should report any issues you have, whether it's a medical, whether it's academic. Any issues that you have need to be reported to me, so that we can, try to get things weeded out before there's any real issues. Now, at the completion of your nursing program, getting your BSN, you're going to have to take what's called the NCLEX. Now, that's the national licensure exam for your RN license. So that's going to be required for you to take and to pass prior to me being able to get you orders. Now, you're authorized to take this exam twice. Should you fail to pass it the first time, I do allow you to take it one additional time. But after that, if you fail the second time, you will be returned to your prior MOS and your enlisted status, because you'll have to pass that NCLEX prior to me getting orders or you commissioning. So if that doesn't happen, if you don't meet those requirements, you will be returned. So that's something to keep in mind. So at the completion of your program, this is good. This is fun time. This is exciting time. Everybody's excited. They've finished up their degree. They're getting their nursing license. They're going to be commissioned. There's some things that you need to do. I need to get some documents. I'll have to get official transcripts from the university that show me, that you have been awarded your bachelor's degree in nursing. So I'll have to get those official transcripts from the university. Then I'll have to verify that you passed your NCLEX. Then I'll have to verify that you have your active nursing license. Once I've verified those 3 things, then I can contact HRC and we can get you assigned to a bullet date and get you commissioned. Now you're a Nurse Corps officer. What's the Nurse Corps have to offer you? But once you first start out, now that's going to be a little different because the Nurses Corps is going to assign you pretty much where they need you. But later on, down the road, 2 years down the road or a year and a half down the road, you may want to specialize. The Army has public health nurses. They have psychiatric mental health nurses, critical care nurses, emergency room nurses, perioperative nursing nurses, OBGYN, and nurse case managers. Now, the regular med-surg nurse is a 66 hotel, and that seems to be the way that most, where they track most new Army nurses when they come right out of nursing school. So you can choose a specialty, and these courses vary in lengths, but those are a great opportunity to specialize. Now after that, they have some long-term health education training that you can go to, some master's programs for case managers. They have a master's program for emergency room nurses, some midwives, also nursing informatics master's program. So you can see by this slide right here that there are a tremendous amount of opportunities that go even beyond being able to participate in the AMED enlisted commissioning program and getting your nursing degree. Once you've got that and you've become a commissioned officer in the Nurse Corps, the education opportunities are vast and they're wonderful, and you should look forward to that opportunity and take advantage of that. There's some doctoral programs that they also offer. The anesthesia, the CRNA program is a doctoral program. They have a psychiatric mental health, some emergency trauma, maternal child, and then, of course, family nurse practitioner doctoral program. Are there any questions out there that someone may have? Let's see. Our first question is, if I will be 31 at the time of the board, do I require an age and grade waiver? Yes. If you will be over the age of 32 at time of commissioning, you're required an age and grade waiver. So second question, I took college classes when I was younger. I wasn't really focused on school, so my GPA reflects that and is below the 3.0 required. Can I get a waiver for my GPA? The answer to that's no. You cannot obtain a waiver for your GPA. I would recommend taking some classes, really focusing on school and trying to get your GPA up so that you can apply. Question, if I don't have a medical MOS, how do I go about obtaining a letter of recommendation from a deputy commander for nursing? That's a very good question, a very common question. My advice would be to contact the Department of Nursing at your closest, nearest MTF and schedule an interview with the deputy commander for nursing. And they'll be more than happy to sit down and talk to you, whether it's face-to-face or over the phone. If you're in a station somewhere where you're a distance from an Army MTF and can't do a face-to-face, then they'll do a telephone interview with you, and they can provide you with a letter of recommendation that way. Another question, does the AECP have specific universities that one must attend to participate? The answer to that is no. We do not dictate what university that you have to attend. As long as the university meets our program requirements of the $9,000 and accredited, you can attend any university in the United States, Hawaii, anywhere really. So we don't tell you what university to go to. That's up to you. And it's up to you to reach out to those universities and research them and see if they fit the program requirements. Another question, do I have to go through a recruiter to put in my packet, or do I contact you and put my packet in through you? Starting this year with this FY, your board packet needs to be submitted through your local AMED recruiter. If you don't go through the AMED recruiter, your packet won't won't be submitted to us. So you need to visit your local AMED recruiter, like I said before, and tell them what your intentions are, and get your packet started. Feel free to contact me anytime you want, and ask me questions, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions for you and get you headed down the right path. So if this is something that you really feel strongly about, that you want to be a Nurse Corps officer, this is a fantastic opportunity, and I'd be very excited to assist you and help you out. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that's all our questions we have. I thank you for taking the time to attend the briefing today. I hope the information that I presented today was helpful, and I look forward to working with you should you decide to participate in the AECP. Here's my contact information. Like I said, visit a local AMED recruiter, or if you have any questions, just contact me at my phone number or my email, which is the best way.